Hello and welcome back to the CCL Week 10. I am Rome DMV, joined alongside by Spider Tiff for the first time, and we are about to have a very, very good match on our hands.
A very good match indeed. I am so excited to see how these two match up. It is a battle of Florida. And you know, we've got that ranked number 16 FSU Esports going up against that Florida Gulf Coast University, which we just saw finish their matchup on College COD, the Alpha channel. So things didn't end so well for them over here. So I'm hoping they were able to go back, regain, and come back refreshed.
Yeah, big time. I mean, they're going to need to because, I mean, if we go ahead and look at this head-to-head, this Florida State University roster is nothing to mess around with. I mean, if you look at their record, 13-3 coming into this matchup, they are not messing around whatsoever. But, I mean, if we get down to the S&D and the control win-loss ratios, things start to get a little bit even.
They do look a little bit even per se, but what it's hard, right? Because this is going to be encompassing stage 1 and stage 2, but Florida Gulf Coast University really has been struggling more in the stage 2 side of things. They've actually been mostly 3-0'd, and I'm looking for them to come back and be stronger. I've done a little bit of research on the players and kind of the team dynamics that they've been having. So let's go ahead and pull up some of those team rosters. Let's talk about these players that we are going to be seeing here in tonight's matches. First up, we've got Florida Gulf Coast University. We have Kirchi, Justin, Tippin, and Beeser. And one thing I want to note is that Justin was looking really strong, and Kirchi had that 2.28 KD, really strong as well. But the thing is, can Tippin and Beeser kind of step it up? I did see some of them kind of getting a little bit stronger, but one in particular, Tippin, I'm looking at you, buddy. I'm looking at you to come out refreshed after that loss to Mox COD today.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely a rough loss. Want to see how all these players are going to be able to bounce back from it. Definitely going to need Tippin to step on up. Let's go ahead and take a look at this Florida State roster on the other side, the away team for the day, if you will. They're going to be consistent of Brave Cannon, Exile, Mad Truth, and K-Cell. And, I mean, this squad right here, I mean, 13-3, number 16 ranked overall. This squad is coming in, and they have very high expectations for this particular matchup.
Yeah, very high expectations indeed. I honestly, completely unbiased here. I am going to throw it out. I think FSU Esports is going to take this dub. You've got an amazing team here with Brave Cannon, Exile, Mad Truth, KSL. They all have KDs north of 1.5. They're really strong. Mad Truth, preferably, I might see him take a lot of the objective time on those respawn modes, especially the hard points. But they did already take a loss to number 5 of Penn State, so they've already played one of the high-tier game teams in this region. So we'll see how it goes. I think this is shaping up to be a really good match.
Yeah, just got to wait and find out. I mean, it's definitely most likely, in my opinion, going to be a good one. I mean, it's Florida on Florida. Anytime you get Florida on Florida, you know you're going to be in for something special. So, I mean, looking at these two rosters, looking at the way that this one's shaping up, I mean, I'm expecting absolute fireworks for this matchup right here. And, I mean, anytime that we're talking about fireworks, you know, we can expect at least one just one bow cage in the series. But sadly, we're not going to be getting that, as crazy as it sounds. Let's go ahead and take a look at the maps for this series. And, I mean, Tiff, give them to me. How you feeling about this layout right here?
I mean, we're going to start it out with Gavutu. Then we're going to go to some Search and Destroy on Desert Siege. Control back to that Gavutu. Hardpoint Tuscan and then Search and Destroy on Berlin. You're right. I really wanted to see some Hardpoint Bocage, but that's specifically because I love that bloodbath. I love that up-close battle. So we're kicking it off. Hardpoint Gavutu. The points are a little more spread out. So we're going to be looking at the rotations. And I want to see like some trends. I want to see how they're going to go as we set the rotations 1 through 5 off the beginning, how that's going to look. FGSU in their first map against Mox COD, they started out as a kind of a slow burn. So they weren't really warming up just yet, but at least they got all of that out of the way. My only issue is, you know, the mental game, right? After you come off a 3-0 loss, can you regain? You've got like 30 minutes until your second match, and you're going up against FSU Esports, number 16 ranked right now. You got to come out strong, and we're going to start it here on Gavutu.
Big time. I mean, Florida State right now, I mean, they are looking like a juggernaut, and I mean, number 16, a lot of people feel like they might be even higher, and they're going to be looking to prove that today by ending this one at that second Gavutu that we're going to be seeing in this pool. I mean, they're going to be looking to end it 3-0. I mean, if you're Florida State, you just watch Florida Gulf Coast lose in 3-0 fashion. So they're going to be essentially smelling that blood in the water. They're going to understand what this is. And Florida State, I feel like they are going to be coming out hot. You said it. If Florida Gulf Coast come out a little bit timid in this first Gavutu hardpoint, we might see Florida State get off to an early lead, get the rotations as well as the scrap time, and, you know, really start to get a very, very huge lead early. And that might just be a snowball effect from Florida Gulf Coast's first match of the day.
I mean, I love how you say snowball, and I'm always a person that would like to root for the underdogs. They did lose on Tuscan, but luckily this is Gavutu, so maybe they'll come with a refreshed attitude. Maybe they play a little better. Maybe the rotations are a little stronger, and maybe they went back and had a talk and were like, let's talk through this. We need some better team dynamics, because they did kind of get their act together halfway through, more towards those second and third rotations on the hills. They brought it down to less than a 30-point defeat on hardpoint. So they know what they're doing. They know how to break the hills. They know rotations. They looked really strong, especially on P3 on Tuscan. So I'm just looking for how they're going to kick it off, how they're going to work together, and how can you combat FSU Esports.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a whole lot of questions to be answered. We just got to wait for the gameplay itself to answer those tough ones. I mean, listen, this is the thing. I know that you already said it. You already got Florida State, right? You already said you got Florida State taking this one, right? What I want to hear is the map count. Is it going to be 3-0, 3-1, 3-2? Give it to me. How are you feeling this one's going to be in and out?
All right, so if FGSU regains, comes out mentally strong, and wins in the first map, I think FSU takes it 3-1. Now, if FGSU loses the first map, I think it's going to go 3-0. What about you?
Ooh, so you think they got to start off a little bit hot. Okay.
Yep.
I mean, listen, the way that this is shaping up, I mean, I just watched Florida Gulf Coast. It wasn't pretty. And, I mean, Florida State, their last matchup looked pretty good in my opinion. So I think Florida State might be looking to end this one in a 3-0 series. I wouldn't be surprised if we're not going to be getting to our third match of the night very, very quickly, just because, I mean, Florida State, like I said, they've got high aspirations. They smell that blood in the water, and they are swirling around like sharks, just waiting to bounce on their prey. That is Florida Gulf Coast. Will they be able to fend them off? I mean, loading into this beautiful map, it's going to be beautiful. Can't wait for it.
It's going to be a bloodbath out on the beach side. Let's talk about it. You got to look at the specific hills. I mean, we're going to start it off on anti-air gun. If you can get there and lock it down quickly, this one is not super hard to hold. They can break through if they need it, but let's see. Justin starting out with a nice nade.
Yeah, Florida Gulf Coast, that's a perfect start that you want, being able to get a nice double kill with that. They're going to be racking up a good amount of time, and now it's going to be all about the break coming in from Florida State, but that's going to be 2 dropping already on the side of Florida Gulf Coast. And Florida State, they're doing a great job of contesting, now able to get some time of their own.
Yeah, they were able to break through P1 extremely well. Now they just got to hold on to it. Only 20 seconds left. But once you kind of lock it down and get your power positions and you hold off the offensive front that's going to come in from FGSU, you're holding equal times on P1. So, I mean, it's really not going to start seeing anything astronomical. But I'm looking towards the rotation right now. We want to see you moving over towards that ship. And as you can see, player number 2 is already beginning the setup. But FSU Esports looking to be really dominant. 3 players over there. Can Florida Gulf Coast make it over there in time and get some points?
Yeah, and the thing is that Brave Canyon right now pretty close to working on these streaks. And I mean, this is the thing, if this squad in Florida State can start to rack up these points right now, this one could get out of hand very, very quickly. I mean, I spoke about it earlier. If they were able to get the scrap time at the old hill and the rotations to the new hill, they're going to be looking very, very good. And that's exactly what they've done on these first 2 hills right here, and found themselves with a nice 40-point advantage as they finally did shut down Brave Cannon, so he wasn't able to get those streaks.
Yeah, that was a really weird push while that break came in from Florida Gulf Coast. It's like they were kind of organizing over in that building to decide, hey, are we going to be able to push in and take this? There's 20 seconds left. You don't want the scrap time. Florida State University is coming up, absolutely just looking for that break and looking to get back on it. They're up 40 points right now, 10 seconds left, so they just need to look at the scrap time at this point. If you're Florida Gulf Coast, you need to kind of work your way over to 3, set up, and hold that down. I feel like P3 is one of the positions on this map that you can hold down astronomically, and you need to make sure you're doing that as Exile picks up 2. Brave was 5-1 going into the next hill, and now he's already died 3 times towards this rotation. You've got Beaster already on P3, holding it down with a nice head glitch. But let's talk about KCL that's working their way toward the back of the map and is going to be able to pick up Beaster.
Yeah, it's going to be a big kill because now it's going to be opening the doors because guess what? Nobody's going to be on this point just quite yet. That means it's going to be coming down to the Gunny, and that's going to be Kirchi, Tippin, and Beaster able to pick out 3, and they should be able to get some nice time as they do have control of this hill, but there's only going to be 25 seconds left. This is going to be the last push coming in from Florida State, so it's going to be all up to Beaster to lock this one down. He's got the Volk in hand right now. It's so nice to be able to see a third gun come into the rotation, and I mean, the whole kill feed is going blue. Florida Gulf Coast doing a great job of locking down the beach, and you said it. I mean, they executed perfectly, got a whole bunch of time, and have almost brought this thing back to a tie game.
Yeah, Florida Gulf Coast did exactly what they needed to do on P3, but they need to remain dominant and carry that momentum on over to P4, which you can see right now. Kirch is already embedded over there. You've got Tippin and Beaster holding that top line area with Justin kind of roaming in the mid map. Unfortunately, Brave Cannon is going to cut him down. The break is about to come in right now.
Exactly, and I mean, right now they still have the spawns, Florida Gulf Coast do. So even though these kills are coming in, where are these players going to spawn? Still in the back. Florida Gulf Coast still have the spawns. They just need to slay out one more time, and this is going to be their hill, their points, and they've done just that. The final push going to be coming in. 25 seconds left. Florida State looking to break this one. Brave Cannon takes out 1, but does get traded out. And that's going to be Kirchi and Beaster dropping 2. And Florida Gulf Coast, they're starting to do it. They've amounted a 30-point advantage now. They were down 40. Now they're up by 30. And they just crossed the 100-point mark. That's a huge swing.
I'm pretty sure that Florida Gulf Coast heard the fact that I was talking about FSU Esports and was like, you know what, we're going to prove it wrong. We're going to make this happen. Now you've got Justin soaking up all the scrap time with a minute of objective time already. But look who's got the early rotation. That's going to be FSU Esports. They are embedded down on docks right now. You've got KCL that's kind of hidden in this really great spot where you can nestle yourself. It's tough to get them out of. So that Florida Gulf Coast University is going to have to work together as a team. And as I say that, KCL falls. So this is going to be on Exile right now, holding down the floor as Florida Gulf is pushing in.
Yeah, but Exile able to do a good job of backing up, playing his life, and I mean, that's exactly what this Florida State roster needs. This is the first hill out of the 3 previous that we've seen. None of the hills before Florida State won the rotations to. They always gave it up and wanted to just break it based off their gun skill alone. But guess what? This time Florida State said, you know what? We're going to rotate early. We're going to lock this one down. And guess what? They pretty much just got that entire hill time. So, I mean, Florida State, that was absolutely incredible. And now their rotations are going to be coming in back. You see Brave Cannon did spot a player going to be coming in, taking him out. That's perfect positioning coming in from Brave Cannon. Now just needs to lock this one down. They got the scrap time, and they've got next. Brave Cannon doing a lot on a force spree right now in this hill. Just needing to play his life. He's doing such a great job of that currently. Just going to be waiting to pick up one more. Try to pick up these streaks so close as he right now. If he goes down, this could be massive, but he does
Kirch
drop.
coming in behind with the Volk, an absolute thing that we've been talking about this gun as it made its way into the CDL, and now it's in the CCL, and I love this gun specifically. I play a lot of Warzone. It's really beautiful up close in that mid-range, so watching as Kirch was able to just infiltrate up into that area, they are able to get the break. This is such a close game. We're within 15 points right now, and I just cannot believe that this is happening. We saw Florida Gulf Coast in their first game of the day, but you know what? Maybe they're coming back. They're feeling refreshed, and they're ready to take on FSU Esports as the rotation is coming in. You see Mad Truth holding on for that scrap time, but we're looking at who is going to get to the ship and who is going to live through the rotation. Is it going to be Brave Cannon? Is it going to be Justin? We're going to see. And right now, it looks like Florida Gulf Coast is going to be able to get in there early. The break is going to come in from FSU Esports. Can they hold on?
Yeah, Mad Truth and KCL able to drop down 2. It's going to be 3 going down on the side of Florida Gulf Coast. So now, I mean, Florida State, they got the positioning. They understand where they're going to be spawning out. It's just going to be all about slaying out. Brave Cannon doing a nice job of that right now, but there is going to still be one thorn in the side who is going to be Tippin up top. And I mean, hey, you stated it early on, Tippin is going to need to play well for this roster, and currently sitting at 6-15. I mean, by far and away, the most leastly performer on the team right now, if you will. Trying to say that as nicely as possible. But, you know, currently down 20 Florida Gulf Coast, Tippin is definitely going to need to step things up.
Well, the fact that they're they're only down 20 points with Tippin being double negative right now and having minimum objective time, the other 3 members of Florida Gulf Coast University's team are holding down the fort. They're currently getting the scrap time, but we're looking for that P3 right now. Like, Florida Gulf Coast was able to hold it down and secure a lot of maximum time. Between 3 and 4, they were able to take a nice lead and jump out in front, where we saw FSU Esports hold 5. So, but now the change has happened. FSU Esports is holding P3 right now, and they're getting all the time. So if you're Florida Gulf Coast, this is where you need to make something happen, and it's on 3.
And now Exile gonna be shooting bodies as well right before picking up a 2-piece. I mean, make it a 3-piece. Can he do it? Gotta reload again. But I mean, hey, if you're gonna be shooting bodies, you gotta be following it up with something. So, I mean, they're following it up with absolute immaculate gun skill right now. But this is the thing, is FSU, they won the rotations. They said, you know what, we're going to start rotating early on this Florida Gulf Coast squad. And guess what? They rotated early to the beach. They are getting every second of time on this hill. Ladies and gentlemen, not giving up 1 millisecond of it. And this is exactly what you want to see. The first set of rotations, they weren't getting to these hills early. They said, you know what, we're just going to break them. They realized that did not work. They started rotating around early, and now they find themselves with a 50-point advantage over this Florida Gulf Coast squad after they had brought it so even.
This is why they are ranked number 16. The ability to read Florida Gulf Coast University and make that change implemented on the second set of rotations, where we see Florida Gulf Coast went ahead and abandoned P3, made that early rotation over to P4, and now the contest is coming in. Can player number 3 hold on? And as I say that, KCL goes big with a nice double, and that absolutely pays off with that break coming in. Florida Gulf Coast is going to have to make one more nice consecutive attempt to get on this hill and minimize any damage, because FSU Esports is going to be in hill contention to win on that P5 when it comes out, and they held it so well last time.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, right now, FSU, they should honestly be looking for the rotations. I mean, this little bit of scrap time is not really going to do you much. You want to be able to try to lock down all this time that you can on the next hill. And I mean, right now, you see Mad Truth going to be trying to look over, buy time for his teammates to get to him. He is going to be dropping down, but that is going to be KCL right there to pick up the scraps. So here we go. Is KCL going to be able to go big for his squad in FSU? No. Is going to be dropping to Florida Gulf Coast. They're going to have the spawns. They're going to be locking this one down. And I mean, this is going to be very hard for FSU to break. I'm going to be honest. They might end up just rotating early to next. That might be the best situation here. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to break it. And as I say that, 3 go down. Streaks are going to be coming in as well from Mad Truth. And Florida State, they just won the map. Wow.
I'm not, the fact that it went so, you were like, this is going to be so hard for them to break, they need to abandon this, and you're like, no. Streaks came out, we saw the glide bomb come down. We know FSU Esports was so dominant on P5, and the ability of those 4 players to kind of swarm down and engulf Florida Gulf Coast University. You were talking about, you know, blood in the water. Well, the Sharks came out, FSU Esports swarmed in on the chum that was Florida Gulf Coast. You know, and it was just all over from there, Rome.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Mad Truth, Exile, going crazy, 28 and 29 kills respectively for both of them. I mean, absolute insanity for sure. I mean, this squad in FSU, they are looking like the real deal with a nice 59-point win coming out over Florida Gulf Coast. And I mean, now, you know, heading into this search and destroy, I don't know. I mean, things are looking so good for FSU. Florida Gulf Coast, they came out hot, but like I said, once FSU started getting those early rotations, Florida Gulf Coast just didn't stand a chance.
Yeah, it was actually a completely different game than what we had watched on that initial game over on Alpha. Florida Gulf Coast had actually started off a little bit slower and then warmed up, bringing it to like a 30-point game. Whereas here, Florida Gulf Coast started off so strong, but just could not hold it together. I mean, you've got players like Kirch and Justin that were absolutely frying. Kirch had a lot of nice moments, especially with that bulk moving in on P1, finding a nice 2-piece, but unfortunately, it just wasn't going to be enough. How do you combat the aggressive nature of FSU Esports and kind of rebuttal their qualities? You've got Mad Truth, you've got Exile, they're just absolute demon fraggers. It comes down to winning your ones and winning those rotations, and we saw a lot of changes on those rotations, Rome.
Oh, yeah, big time. And I mean, right now, Florida Gulf Coast, they're going to really need to figure it out right here. We are going to be going to a desert siege search and destroy, though. So things are going to be slowing down. You know, it's not going to be the same fast-paced action that was just in that hard point. So, you know, this might be a nice sigh of relief for this Florida Gulf Coast squad, because now they've lost 4 maps in a row on the day. They're not trying to make it 5. Just take a deep breath. This is a search and destroy. Things are slowing down. You got this.
Yeah, I love that you're like, you've got this. And then I'm over here being devil's advocate. If I'm taking a 4-0 loss on the day, my mental may not be exactly there, right? So I feel as if, like I said, when we were talking about this, if they lose map 1, I think they're going to lose the series. And they just did that. So I'm being a little bit of a thorn. You're right. If they don't turn it around here, it is completely game over.
I mean, listen, yeah, pretty much if they go down 2-0, I can expect the control to be more of the same. I mean, Florida State, I don't see a reason why, after winning a hard point and a search and destroy in dominating fashion, that they wouldn't go carry that over into the control. We just got to wait and see, though, exactly how much fight this Florida Gulf Coast squad is going to have left in them. I mean, listen, I know the state that the school itself, Florida Gulf Coast, they take pride in their sports and their esports. So, I mean, I know for a fact that these players got passion that they definitely want to put on for their squad. And it's an interstate rivalry, Florida versus Florida. Anytime you get Florida versus Florida, you're definitely going to want to put in a little bit of that little extra oomph into your gameplay, that extra oomph into your passion level. And, let's see if they can bring that out here on Desert Siege.
Bring it on out. We are ready to see the action unfold here on Desert Siege. It's been a minute since I've seen some search and destroy on this map and had the pleasure of casting over it. So I'm excited to see what these teams are going to bring it out and who is going to be that so-called champion of this Florida match right now. I do love some contention, right? I do love when you've got rivalries being made, and this rivalry in Florida right now is absolutely beautiful, as we are seeing right now. FSU Esports is currently on the offensive with Florida Gulf Coast University defending, and Mad Truth coming out with a nice first blood.
Yeah, going to be big for this offensive squad. I mean, KCL going to be moving through mid, is going to be able to spot out one, but that is going to be his teammate dropping, as Brave Cannon tried to make I don't know, like that was a very I'm trying to find the right word for it, but that was a very interesting play, to say the least, to run directly down the middle of the map to the enemy spawn while
that
three players
is exactly
are still up.
what I've seen. That is very reminiscent of what I've seen on Desert Siege. The Exile picks up a nice piece back there on Kirch, and anyone's going to be taken out in Kirch, but a trade comes in. That's great. Bam is down on B. They just need to make it happen. But with that being said, you've got Tippin last alive for Florida Gulf Coast.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, anytime you're in a situation like this, it's just not going to be the best, because guess what? KCL, Exile, so many angles to watch this one from. It's going to be so hard to what? Wait a second. Tippin. Okay. The nade comes out. Okay. I mean, hey, Tippin, made something happen for a second. I was kind of surprised he won that one, but I mean, still, it is going to be Florida State coming out on top.
I was going to say very typical Tippin.
That was a stun.
Because, I mean, he pulls out the pistol, throws it down, and got the kill, but the trade came in with the nade. Unfortunately, there's just nothing you can do. You're already so low on health at that point. How are you going to dodge that nade? I mean,
that was a stun. That wasn't even a nade.
Wait,
it was a stun.
Oh,
yeah,
man. I mean,
I thought it was
they
a
out
nade
here doing
too,
20 damage. Beware.
I mean, hey, listen, stuns, sometimes, they just enough to do the job at the end of the day. Kirchy is going to be pulling out the sniper, though. He's going to be looking over this B side. Exile is going to be able to get the big first blood for the defensive squad. Mad Truth picks up another. Justin is able to answer. Is he able to spot out Mad Truth? No. KCL is able to pick off another, and that's going to lead Kirchy all by his lonesome. And, I mean, with the automaton in hand, let's see if Kirchy can make something happen. And no, that's going to be Florida State shutting things down, having a solid start right here, 2-0.
Yeah, that would have been really tough for Kirchy to pull that off. Once bomb fell mid-map, Kirchy was already so far away from that, and they knew exactly where he was. There was just, honestly, that was a lose-lose battle. I don't think he was going to make it out of there, and that's me being realistic and not negative. Sorry, Kirch. I know you're a good player, man, but
Hey, listen, man, Kirch, he still got the sniper out, so, I want to see if maybe he can figure something out to do with it. Maybe he'll be able to get one of these early picks for his squad and be able to really help out. But, I mean, as you stated, right now, things are looking pretty grim for Florida Gulf Coast. I mean, in the last series, what was their search and destroy score?
I think it was 6-1. Let me check. I'm pretty sure it was 6-1. I think they took one of them. Yep, 6-1. Confirmed.
Well, let's see if they can put up a little bit more of a fight in this one right here. It is going to be KCL down low, is able to win the big 1v1 against Kirch to bring it back to a 3v3. So, I mean, that first blood coming in from Florida Gulf Coast end up not meaning much, because now things are all tied up 3 apiece. Justin is trying to make the play happen as he is the flanker, is able to pick up one. Is he going to get traded out? No! He turns and burns. Justin is able to make the amazing play happen before finally dropping. Brave Cannon goes down. And based off of that incredible turn and burn, Florida Gulf Coast going to be picking up their first round.
Hey, they needed to pick up a first round. That was really well played there by Justin to get that nice 2-piece before he was traded on. That was actually KCL's first death. He was 4-0 going into that round, now 4-1. So cutting down the streaks was going to be astronomical there. You don't really want KCL to go on and run and end up picking up a glide bomb, because when you get a glide bomb in Search and Destroy, especially on Desert Siege, having that information is so critical. So good job to Justin to cutting that down.
Oh, yeah, big time. And now, I mean, is going to be a little bit of an A push coming in from Florida Gulf, but Mad Truth going to be shutting that down real quick with a nice first blood. And now it is going to be Justin inside of this middle building. Going to be needing to make a play eventually, but I mean, anytime you're in an early 3v4 disadvantage on the offensive side on this map, it's really going to be about making an all or nothing play to break the mold, and Justin's going to get caught out trying to do that. Bomb's going to be down, and this one should be all Florida State.
Yeah, this is really tough. Once you lose bomb down in that mid house, that house and building in general is so hard to hold. There's so many avenues to get into that bomb site that you really have to make a full aggressive push and lock it down if you're going to go that route. I think if you're going to go and try to get some picks for information, but you're already down, you're right, 3-4 at that point, now 2-4. It's hard to make that regain because they're already set up on bomb. It's going to be impossible to regain this moment once Tippin falls.
Yeah, now Kirch, I mean, just going to be looking for a kill potentially, just trying to pad the stats a little bit at this point, and might be able to spot one, and is going to be able to pick off Mad Truth there, which is going to be nice. So, I mean, a nice start at the end of the day, but Brave Cannon going to be doing a little bit of hunting. Shots going wayward. Brave Cannon is going to be coming in, just trying to hunt down Kirch, and finally they are going to drop him. So Florida State picking up yet another round, 3-1 advantage currently. I mean, if there wasn't a heroic flank coming in from Florida Gulf Coast, I mean, this could be getting very out of hand very quickly.
Out of hand indeed, but you got KCL, who's playing an absolute astronomical game of Search and Destroy right now. He's currently 5-1, really holding it down for his team. So if you are Florida Gulf Coast right now, you need to look for getting a pick on KCL. You need to look at how you're going to take that out, because Florida Gulf Coast right now is getting picked off one by one right off the start. As you can see, you've got player number 8, Encourage, probably has the sniper in hand, looking for an early game peak, but it's just not happening because Florida State University has already read the other team. And at this point, they all know to push forward. Beaster is going to find Brave Cannon is actually going to get the first pick on FSU this time.
Yeah, that's going to be big. Now we get to see exactly if Florida State is going to be able to answer back on the offensive side while they're at now a disadvantage. I mean, KCL has a player right in front of him. I feel like you can smell him right now. So close. But, I mean, just got to wait and see. Oh, Kirch barely going to be moving that reticle. Just a little bit too early. I mean, the COD timing. It happens. Boom! There it goes. Love that part.
Are you serious? That was an absolute astronomical headshot right there. Just that ting, that click. I didn't even think he was going to get it. When I saw that, I was like, there's just no way as Kirch lines this up, this next shot is going to miss, but that's fine. Mad Truth last alive and will fall as soon as I say that to Beaster. The defuse coming in. Now, Beaster's starting to put a couple things together. Tippin's still 2-3, so he's holding his own. Tippin is a lot better on the Search and Destroy as opposed to the respawn modes. So maybe this is a good way for, you know, FGCU to come back.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, as you stated, might be a good situation, but they're going to need to figure out a way to win in offense and win it fast. Because, I mean, right now, the only round that they've won so far have been 2 defensive rounds. So now going back on this offensive side, looking to not go down 4-2. What exactly is Florida Gulf Coast going to do? Because, I mean, they're going to need to win an offense eventually in order to win this map.
I don't think they should push towards B if they're going to go on offensive. I just think that's not the fair way to move. And you've got, you know, Justin with the bomb right now moving past, which is something new that we haven't seen.
Wow.
Gonna find a nice kill on Mad Truth. I think this is setting it up. You said they need to win on offense, and this is looking promising, but he's making that long rotation through the backside of the map, kind of flirting in front of Exile, who had literally no idea of that pass. Moving straight towards the bomb site. Will he get bombed down here?
Yeah, but right now, I mean, KCL was able to pick up Kirchy, and this is the thing, is that this could easily go down to a 2v2 situation if Florida State plays this right based on positioning. But I mean, right, and that's what I'm talking about. KCL able to pick off one, and now these players of Florida Gulf Coast, they're not really playing together. This might be a situation where Florida State can definitely get this defuse. Exile is able to spot one, though. It's going to be a big kill. Trade is going to be coming out. Now it's down to a 1v1. Plenty of time left, 25 seconds. He's going to hop it. He's going to hop it. KCL on the bomb, but Tippin spots him. 20 seconds left. I mean, still plenty of time for KCL right now, as he is going to be putting out that stun, and he's going to be pushing. You got to go now, and KCL going to be going big. Florida State able to turn that one around. A 4v2. That is exactly what I was talking about. That could easily have turned, and it did exactly that, and they were able to clutch it up.
Oh my gosh, and the shots come out, shooting after the defuse. Tippin, my guy. You had such a brilliant moment. You popped it. He was doing for the defuse. You went and put in a few shots, but unfortunately, KCL was the one on the defuse, and KCL is 9-2 with 4 streak right now, and that is not the player that you want to have challenge you, because you could see KCL right there going on that aggressive front and saying, you know what, I'll chow you. Win your ones, and that's exactly what KCL did. They needed that offensive round, and unfortunately, it just did not come together for them.
Oh, precisely, KCL. There was a player on the bomb. Wow. Whew, man, he was so close to interacting with him, but unfortunately, Brave Cannon is going to be dropping early on. And I mean, now KCL going to need to make something happen. 3v3 situation right now. KCL just kept patrolling right now. Doing a great job of getting a lot of intel for his squad. Mad Truth able to spot one over on this A side. And I mean, they're doing a nice job of locking it down, but I don't think they're going to be able to get this bomb down anytime soon, as Justin's going to be making his way over as well. And I mean, if Mad Truth just holds true right now, I mean, 40 seconds remaining, it is going to be KCL that's going to be trying to make the play right now in the middle building, who is going to be running into Justin, is able to take him out, and that's going to be able to set them up to potentially make this A plan happen, but only 30 seconds remaining. Got to see what Mad Truth with bomb in hand is going to be able to do, but he's going to be dropping. That's going to be huge. And right now, Kirch in the mid building, trying to make a play happen for Florida Gulf Coast. Beaster is going to be dropping Exile, and now Florida Gulf Coast, they have life. 2v1 advantage for them right now. The bomb's currently down, 15 seconds remaining. And KCL gonna need to hit the flank of a sentry. Spots one. Gonna need to spot the other. 8 seconds remaining. Needs to find the kill. Can he get the bomb planted? 5 seconds. Yes, he just started planting it in time. And what is Kirch doing? He's hiding. The wrong play right now for sure, because KCL just got the bomb down in front of your face. And now KCL just needs to play this one correctly. But is he gonna know exactly where Kirch is coming from? I mean, Kirch gonna be locking him down, trying to look. He's walking him down. You can see player 8 literally walking him down with the angle. He's got the sniper rifle in hand, switching to the pistol, coming up behind him. Gonna be doing the execute. Here we go, baby. Wham, bam, kabam. Thank you, ma'am. Getting the defuse is going to be Florida Gulf Coast.
Kirch, you did not have to do KCL just like that, but I am living for that moment. If you are going to do anything, that is how you assert your dominance. That is the mental state that I am looking for. I'm looking for you to get on the aggressive front and say, no, we did lose to Mox COD earlier. We do not want to lose to FSU Esports tonight, and you are down right now by 1 round. You can take this to a round 11 and put it 1-1 in the series and start your aggressive maneuver right now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, hey, let's see what this squad is capable of. I mean, you win a round like that, I mean, anything is possible. I mean, Kirch going to be feeling himself for sure. Going to be keeping this sniper rifle in hand. Don't blame him whatsoever. I mean, he shut down so many streaks. I mean, I don't think that KCL was able to actually get any streaks. So, I mean, shutting that down is definitely going to be huge for Florida Gulf Coast to stay even in this one. And now, I mean, on the offensive end, Florida Gulf Coast, they're still going to need to find a way to win an offensive round. And that's going to be a big first blood that is going to be coming out in their favor.
Definitely in their favor, and you're completely right. KCL has been denied of streaks at every point in this game, and I feel like at that point he needed those streaks to really lock it down. Being only up 1 round in this is not that comfortable moment. You've got Brave Cannon who sights the player who's going to retreat and maybe take a different line of sight. Bomb is just kind of hanging out mid-map with Justin, not too sure where the push is coming in, but he's got 30 seconds on the clock as he starts to move, kind of wrapping up towards A, but look who's there. That's Brave Cannon holding that line of sight, but he's not going to peek just yet, as Justin is going to go ahead and get that bomb down. Brilliantly played so far. Still a 3v3 situation. Brave Cannon on the move.
Yeah, and able to get out as well. So now it's going to be all on to KCL. Going to be completely honest, this entire round is on KCL in my opinion. KCL is a player to watch. So we're going to be on with him right now. He's going to need to take out Kerchi in the back. If he drops right here, this play is for naught. And yes, KCL, oh my God, 12-3 right now, going absolutely insane for this Florida State roster. And now he's able to pick up one. He finds the second as well. All that's going to be left is going to be Justin. 15 seconds remaining. Justin's going to be dropping. And my, oh my, I called it. KCL going insane, clutching up, hitting the big flank.
Rome, I'm just curious, what are the lottery numbers? Do you know? Like, I'm just curious at this point because you just read that last section of the map so well. KCL going absolutely big. Exile coming into the last kill right there from behind. That player was so free, and I hate saying that. So yeah, if you're gonna read it like this, yeah, lottery numbers, stat, please.
Listen, I just love Call of Duty. Listen, I've been an S&D savant since Call of Duty 4. So situations like that, that's bread and butter. I can read that all day. I know who's gonna be making the play, who's gonna be the most important on the map. Let's get into it. One more round, Florida State to go up 2-0 in the series. My goodness, let's see if they can finish it off on this offensive end. And there's the first blood coming in.
First blood indeed coming in from Brave Cannon. Now I'm curious here at this point. KCL, the man, the myth, the legendary demon in Search and Destroy right now. 13-3 with a nice 2 streak going for himself. Beasts are going to find Mad Truth from the back, but Bomb is going down on B site right now. Nice 3v2 situation as shots are being fired and the battle is happening. Brave Cannon's going to find another. That is leaving our man Tippin, the last player alive, and is going to find a nice kill. But can Tippin find Exile, find KCL, and make this happen? They've all had their wins on defensive rounds, so they need to have this happen. But can Tippin clutch right now?
Yeah, I think his chances of winning this round are about as good as his chances of making that jump up. And yeah, going to be dropping right there. And Florida State closing this one out. What a performance. What a game. I mean, it was 6-3, but that had some rounds in it. That felt a lot closer. That was a great match.
That was definitely a great matchup. Unfortunately for Tippin, I think that was a bad case of COD timing right there. He slid in, was getting ready to start either diffusing, but then was like, no, let me just maybe check it out a little bit. Checks it out and just is absolutely fumbles right there at the end. But let's look at these stats right now. And we see the MVP of FSU Esports, and that's going to be KCL with that 14-3. But what I want to highlight specifically is that 10 non-traded kills. Yeah. That is insane. That is the MVP. That is the legend.
Yeah, I mean, big time. I mean, KCL literally put the squad on his back. I mean, said, you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm going to be the S&D star today. Nothing else matters. 6-3 win going to be coming out. Florida State, I mean, all I got to say is yet again, I mean, showing their dominance, showing their clutch factor, showing their big play ability. I mean, this squad has the whole package. I mean, I see why people are saying, you know what? They're ranked number 16, but they deserve to be a little bit higher in certain people's books. I mean, honestly, this squad, they're proving it today. Going to be trying to close it out on this third map in control on Gavutu. But, I mean, listen, hey, before that does happen, listen, we got to talk about this because that Search and Destroy right there, that was a game for sure. I mean, Florida Gulf Coast, they had some crazy clutches as well. At the end of the day, though, Florida State, they just had more.
They definitely did have more, but I do really... I love that Kerch went in and got that assassination to kill that round. That was beautiful. And if you're going to show that you do still have some fight left in you, that's a great way to do it. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. They did look a lot stronger in the Search and Destroy against FSU Esports, as they did when they played Mox COD earlier. So they are kind of gaining and working towards that maneuver. But now they're down 2-0 in the series, and they have to put it together going into the next respawn. And that's going to be controlling Gavutu.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, anytime that you're down 2-0 in the series, heading to that control, you know that the odds are not in your favor currently to win it. But I mean, hey, at the end of the day, reverse sweep's got to start somewhere. So we'll see if that reverse sweep will be starting for Florida Gulf Coast when we get back from this short break. Don't go anywhere. Hello and welcome back to the CCL Week 10. I'm Rome DMV, joined alongside Spider Tiff, and so far, I mean, we've got a 2-0 series, and I don't really know if it's gonna get any better. But I mean, hey, let's just find out. I mean, Spider Tiff, you said you were the pessimistic one. Let me get a little bit pessimistic myself, a little bit over here.
Look, I don't even want to get pessimistic, right? I just call it like I see it, and based off what I have seen right now, Florida Gulf Coast really needs to get it together. And by when I say get it together, I'm looking at Tippin. Tippin appeared to be the weakest link on the team when they faced MoxCOD, and it's looking to be the same right now against FSU Esports. But we're going up to Gavitu Hardpoint, another respawn mode, or not Hardpoint, I lied, Control, another respawn mode. So this is kind of what's happening. You see it right now. FSU Esports coming in strong on the Gavutu Hardpoint, on that Desert Siege Search and Destroy, and now we're moving to Control on Gavutu. So this is the second time they're seeing this map in the series. Rome, I mean, what are we feeling here?
I mean, I'm feeling like it's probably going to end up going the way of Florida State, just because, I mean, the way that they were playing on that Gavutu Hardpoint, they adjusted, they figured out exactly what they needed to do as a squad, and that second half was a totally different game. So I think if they, you know, keep that same mentality coming into this one, where, you know what, as long as we adjust to Florida Gulf Coast's play style, we'll be able to come out on top. I don't see a reason that Florida State shouldn't be ending the series in a 3-0 fashion.
I mean, very fair point. You are completely correct right there. Florida State, FSU Esports, they kind of read Florida Gulf Coast, especially on that first set of rotations on that Gavutu Hardpoint. We saw a lot of spectacular moments on the P2, P3, P4, and then when we went into the second set of rotations, it completely flipped, and FSU Esports kind of took off in the form of Mad Truth and Exile really standing out, and I think we're going to see a lot of that here, but we got Courage on the Volt, so I've got high expectations as everyone is kind of clustering around A site right now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, right now this one is going to be going in favor of Florida Gulf Coast. I mean, they've done a nice job right now getting some early time, some early progression. The question is, will they be able to get this first tick? And looks like, yes, they are able to. So a nice start coming in from Florida Gulf Coast for sure. Florida State going to need to start getting them out of this point. I mean, it's going to be much easier said than done. I mean, they're halfway through with the second one as well. I mean, Florida Gulf Coast doing a great job. Great start to this game.
Yeah, FSU Esports has the easier spawns, but let's talk about Beezer right now that already went up to the B site to go ahead and try to get some early ticks on, and that's going to cause Brave Cannon to make the rotation up there to really get him off there. All meanwhile, you've got Tippin and Courage just living their best life and capping A right there. So now that's all that's left. You've got 25 lives remaining. You just need B with 2 minutes. So at that point, what is that rotation going to look like? And if you're FSU Esports, you need to kind of group up. You're still spawning on that side and make a wholesome push to take out the entire team together. Now's your best chance with only 2 of them being on the site.
Yeah, precisely. I mean, we got to see exactly what this squad is going to be able to do right now. Florida Gulf Coast done an incredible job, immaculate even. I mean, they find themselves up by 6 kills as well. So Florida State now, they've got to make this push, but not just do it loop-de-loo, throwing lives at the enemy. You got to make it coordinated because, I mean, you're losing this kill feed as well so severely at this point. And, I mean, you've got 3 sets of lives remaining on the side of Florida State, 12 lives remaining in total. It's going to be 3 a player if you play your numbers right. And right now, Florida Gulf Coast, this is an incredible offensive round. Let's not put anything past it.
Yeah, I'm not going to sleep on them. They're doing really well on the offensive round, and I love this. But as you can see right now, FSU Esports is kind of sitting down below in that mid-map. The Florida Gulf Coast is actually starting to push out and around, and they were just feeding kills at this point. I mean, they're still up 5 right now, and they're making that push to get onto B. But unfortunately, what is going to happen right now? FSU Esports has maybe 2 good pushes remaining, and they were kind of just inaccurate right there on their push, but they're coming in right now. Brave Cannon and KCL, we know KCL can hit their shots, but they're looking a little lackluster here in the Control.
Yeah, precisely. I mean, things are not looking great. I mean, they've got it within 4 now. I mean, a couple better, but I mean, right now, Florida State, they clearly understand the situation. KCL, his life right here is going to be massive. He's going to need to pick up a couple kills, but guess what? That's going to be a wild flanking Courage, and oh man, Courage is able to pick up 2 on the backside, and now only 1 life going to be remaining for the side of Florida State each, as that is going to be all Florida Gulf Coast taking this big offensive round. I mean, what happened? I mean, did we get the names wrong or the names swapped or something? Like what happened? I mean, Florida Gulf Coast came out on fire.
They came out on fire indeed, and I think it's because we were just a smidge pessimistic on them as we were bringing it into this. I feel like maybe they're feeling the fire, and they're just coming out, they're ready. I mean, look at Tippin. Look at Tippin, 7-4 currently. So that is a great move in the right direction, and I'm looking at Tippin to keep that momentum going forward. If they were so strong on the offensive round, can they take it and go on the defensive area? You've got them split 2-2. 2 went north, 2 went south, 2 are chilling on A right now, and I'm just curious how this is going to roll out. A lot of chaos going on mid-map.
Yeah, precisely, but this is going to be an interesting thing because Florida State, they're doing the B push, and they are able to get a couple of kills already, so this is the thing. They need to turn these kills into time, and there they are, able to 2-stack onto this point. They're going to be getting this one secured pretty quickly, are able to get at least 1 tick of progression, so that is going to make this push worth it, even if that's going to be all they're able to get. But, I mean, right now, I don't know. Things are starting to look pretty good on the offensive end. What are we watching right now? I mean, is this Kavutu control? I mean, is offense supposed to be winning this easy? They're capping B. What's going on?
Exile has just moved into the tank and is just living their best life with Mad Truth, just looking over them with that automaton. We saw that Florida Gulf Coast player push up and try to take out both of them prior to capping B, and Mad Truth just absolutely cut them down as Exile and KCL are pulling out all the stops right now. That's leaving Beaster last alive on A and will be cut down by KCL again. So now if you're Florida Gulf Coast, you need to make that coordinated push and get back into the ship, grab some power positions, and make sure that FSU does not get in there.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is that's going to be so hard to do because they're already down by 9 lives. Like, even if they are going to be able to get in, I mean, Florida State, this one's going to be so easy to be able to push out, flank, get angles, get trades. I mean, this is really Florida State's to lose. 1:15 remaining. Florida Gulf Coast trying to make some things happen, but Justin ends up dropping on the boat. So let's see if Brave Cannon trying to hit the big flank is going to be the Lone Ranger. This is what I'm talking about. You have plenty of time to hit flanks like this. And I mean, this play right here is going to be massive. If Brave Cannon can pick up a couple, there's only 11 lives remaining right now on the side of Florida Gulf Coast. That's going to be 1 spotted. That's going to be 1 big kill coming in for Brave. Let's see if he can pick up 2, as now he is going to be a thorn in the side. Up top, that's going to be a big second kill. And now, I mean, anything at this point is just insult to injury because this is a 10.10 kill disparity. And I mean, at the end of the day, Florida State, they answered back very, very strong.
They did answer back very strong, but I want to say that Kirch was doing a very good job at keeping the backside of A safe from them, right? They have moved off, but they will go find some big kills, but you have 7 lives remaining. That's a 10-kill difference, so you need to hold on to every life at this point because you only have 1 life left per player, essentially, with 2 maybe getting to come back. And as I say that, they just keep getting cut down. You will not be able to respawn if you lose 1 more kill. And as I say, I feel like I'm just cursing Florida Gulf Coast at this point. And you've got FSU Esports right there moving in on the ship with time being stopped. This is not looking good if you're Florida Gulf Coast.
Yeah, well, you know, you might be cursing Florida Gulf Coast, but at least that's not bad as a cursing situation as a CDL. Anyway, let's talk about Florida State, man. Picking up a big win right there. 1-to-1 situation. And, I mean, they answered back in an incredible way. They said, listen, if you win an offense, we're going to be winning an offense even more impressively. So, I mean, listen, I thought that Florida Gulf Coast had life, but now that Florida State had such a great offensive round, how are they going to answer on this defense now?
That's true. You really need to make sure that you can win this defensive round. I think that's going to be really key if you're FSU Esports. But at this point, we already saw Florida Gulf Coast be really successful on that offensive round. So I'm looking to see something similar like we saw in round 1. I think it's going to happen again, but you never know. You could take that loss to heart. But Kirch coming out strong. Beaster coming out strong. They are all aboard the ship right now. But look at KCL getting a nasty little peek right there to take some of them before getting traded out by Kirch. They were able to get 1 tick down, but I don't know if that's going to be a strong enough start because you're spawning all the way on the left side at this point. No one is on B. How can you rotate out, find those mid-map kills, and maybe start on the tank?
Yeah, it's starting to look like Florida State woke up a little bit. Maybe that first defensive side, they just weren't fully ready. They were still in the S&D mindset, weren't ready for this fast-paced action. But, I mean, right now, they're looking wide awake for sure. As Kirch is trying to make an interesting play happen down mid. Was able to pick up a nice kill. But, I mean, still, Nothing major going to be coming in for this Florida Gulf squad. They're finally able to start to lock down this A point. But guess what? Florida State, they're going to be there, and they're shutting this one down. I mean, Florida State, they're doing a great job right now keeping them out the point. Only 35 seconds remaining.
Yeah, and they've got the life lead right now. But as you can see right now, Florida Gulf Coast is going to try to make that rotation over towards B. But you got Exile cutting, tipping down mid-map, leaving Kirch all on his lonesome up there, and is not going to go ahead and finish that rotation. But now he might get caught from behind. Just hop on to B, touch something. You've only got 15 seconds left. Hop on it, and he does. He touches it, freezes the clock, but is it going to be enough? The lives are so close to remaining. We're about to get that one tick underway. You've got Brave Cannon rotating up, but I don't know if he can live on it, and he cannot. He will be cut down. Rome, what are you going to do if you're Florida Gulf Coast? You got 8 seconds remaining.
Yeah, it's going to be all up to Beeser and Kirch to make the play right now, and that's going to be both of them dropping. And I mean, Florida State shutting this one down, not even letting either point go through. I mean, that right there is dominating defense coming out. And now they're going back to the offensive side, where they made B look honestly like some cake and made A look like the frosting on top. I mean, I don't know. That was just super easy their last offensive round. So let's see if this is going to be the same.
Yeah, that was a really quick round for them. I mean, FSU Esports, they're taking that offensive. They take the defensive. This is what they need to win to put it to bed. There'll be a 3-0 on the series. So this will end it all. And maybe they're just looking to be dominating and end it and maybe move up in the rankings after this week because, I'm here for it. But you mentioned B right now, but they are going all for A. It is chaos in the ship, and I am here for it.
Oh, yeah, all for a little bit of chaos, especially in a game 3 where you got to be pulling out all the stops, as you said, to be able to be victorious. And, I mean, right now, Florida State, they are coming out strong. They said, you know what, we made the B push look easy first. Now we're going to start things off heading over to A first. And, I mean, right now, already going to be having that 3-kill advantage. Ooh, that would have been a huge kill on the backside, but no, Florida Gulf Coast going to be answering back. 2 ticks of progression already coming through. K-Cell going to be going big inside of the ship. Currently going to be on a 3 spree. Going to be looking to add a little bit more to that tally. Is able to get 4 now. Finally is going to be going down to the hands of Beeser. But that's already going to be A fully capped. And now they got 2 minutes to work with heading over to B.
Yeah, plenty of time, plenty of lives. If you're Florida Gulf Coast right now, you're going to have to put something together, maybe make a nice rotation, maybe lock the fort down over by that tank. You cannot let FSU Esports take it here. And as I say that, the kill feed just lights up for FSU, and this is not good. Florida Gulf Coast has the spawns, but they're still kind of split. Look at Brave Cannon right now, making the move to get behind Florida Gulf Coast. This is not going to be good, but look who's going to be there. It's going to be Kirch. Kirch going to cut him down, but we're looking at FSU. They're starting to gang up right now mid-map. They're waiting to make a really well-executed push. You've got Brave Cannon moving to go through that big map, but Kirch is always behind you, man.
Kirch, I mean, going big for sure. Justin getting one as well. Right now, still going to be that 6-kill advantage, though, on Florida State. So now only 12 lives remaining for Florida Gulf Coast. They're going to need to make all these kills matter. A minute remaining. That is plenty of time. So at this point, it's pretty much going to come down to the kills. And Brave Cannon, if he's able to get one right here, which he isn't able to, I mean, that would have been big for Florida State. But, I mean, either way, they're going to now be up by 8 lives, almost double the lives remaining. And now they've got more than double as this kill feed is going all white. This is about to be Florida State ending this one in very dominating fashion these last 3 rounds, I must say.
Exile on a nice kill streak right there. A 5 potentially trying to get a glide bomb of his own eventually, but no need because they are going to put it to bed right now. 3-1 on control, 3-0 on the series, and that leaves Florida Gulf Coast 6-0 on the day. Rome, man, I'm just absolutely gutted for Florida Gulf Coast. They played really well, but just not well enough. FSU Esports absolutely dominating. Look at Mad Truth right there, 28-18, making it look like an easy day in the office.
Yeah, I mean, you said it's got to be a rough one. I mean, Kirch, he already left the lobby. He said, you don't even get the right to see my stats. I'm out of here. So, I mean, listen, I mean, definitely a rough day for Florida Gulf Coast going 0-6 in maps. But, I mean, hey, shout out to Florida State. I mean, you got to give props to their competition at the end of the day. They came in, showed out, and showed up. I mean, you look at Mad Truth yet again. When things get in that respawn game mode, Mad Truth is a problem on the map. 23 non-traded kills, most damage in the lobby. Absolutely going insane for this Florida State squad. This series right here, I mean, it might have been 3-0, but it definitely had its moments where Florida Gulf Coast looked like they had some life.
They definitely had some life, but when you look at Florida State or FSU Esports, you've got a couple people on that team, right? You mentioned it, Mad Truth, Exile. They are phenomenal on those respawn modes. So if you're Florida Gulf Coast University, how are you going to combat that going forward? I think it would be a really good opportunity for you to go back, review your VODs, and look at kind of where the misses were against them on the respawn modes. And then in particular, FSU Esports, KCL, and the Search and Destroy. Absolute demon just really held the team together there. So when you've got such a good working team, I think they're going to be moving up in the rankings this week after this performance.
Yeah, big time. Definitely wouldn't doubt it for sure. But hey, listen, this was an incredible matchup. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, our next matchup of the night is going to be even crazier. These two teams, the record's so even. They're the top of everything. You'll see it in a second. We will be right back after this short break. You aren't going to be wanting to go anywhere. We're going to be right back on the call for another incredible matchup. Stay tuned.